asking multiple questions, or as we call it in coaching, stacked questions. A number of questions in one row and might be very confusing for the client, so they don't know what question they are supposed to be answering. Or feeling the need and actually trying to explain or justify the question, especially if after the question asked, client begin to look kind of like they don't really know, and the coach might feel triggered that they need to explain the question or explain why they're asking this question. No good. Leading or closed questions is not also not the demonstration of the most powerful coaching. For example, so how about we start thinking, and there is suggestion follows, or do you think you should, and again there is a closed question and suggestion follow, so it's both leading and closed. That's not what the professional coaches do. Using jargon or generally complex language and the client doesn't really understand what specifically coach wants to say, we might have a pitfall of asking or including the jargon in our language. We might say like session goal, or we might say limiting beliefs or anything like this of that matter. And if the coachee is not a coach, so that might feel kind of artificial, and that this language might not resonate with them. So we are trying to avoid them in our coaching, during our coaching sessions. If coach just enjoys the sound of their voice a bit too much, and they also at the same time know a lot of lovely stories, anecdotes that they can share with their client, even though they might feel that those stories and those anecdotes will really benefit the client, everything good within the certain limits. So first of all, we should remember that it's not space for us to share everything we know. And even though we might share certain input with the permission to the client, we are not occupying the whole space with the teaching and storytelling, and keep the space for the client to explore and express themselves. So asking clear, direct, primarily open-ended questions, one at a time, in the pace that allows client to reflect and to feel. Generally keeping our language concise and clean throughout the whole coaching conversation, leaving the most of the space to the client to reflect and express themselves fully. All right, let's unpack it. So first of all, the questions which we are asking are thought-provoking questions. We know they're open-ended in majority of them, starting with what and how, and the aim of them is to provoke client thinking, to invite them to the uncharted territory and to reflect on something new which is not yet known or discovered by them. Again, asking one question at a time, even though we sometimes might suspect that the way we formulated the question doesn't sound perfect. Who said that it needs to be perfect? Ask the question, waiting, seeing how it lands with the client. If it doesn't land with the client will let us know. Again, they will give us a certain feedback by either asking us to rephrase the question, or they will find their way somehow and they will answer the question in a way that resonated with them. So, one question at a time. Remember that the most powerful questions are the questions which based on the principle of responsiveness. We are responding to what we receive from the client, be it their verbal input, their body language, the shifts of energy. So our questions, so the best of our questions, again, coming not from the pre-prepared list, but there is a fluidity and there is a dance in the coaching conversation, and the most powerful questions are coming with a response from what we receive from the client. Talking generally about the clean language, remember KISS, keep it short and simple. All the summaries or reflective inquiry or reflective listening, whatever tools and techniques we are using, they're clean, they're short, they're concise, and they are to the point.